What's going on, fellas? Mel Ice here with my picks and kind of a small breakdown of who I think is going to win on the main card. So, we're going to start off with Mauricio Rufy versus James um, Lontop. His nickname is Goku, which is kind of a cool nickname. But, yeah, this will open up the main card. There's a lot of hype on Rufy right now. Um, Obviously, he's very smooth striker. He's a part of the Fighting Nerds team with Kyle Bahalio, Carlos. I always forget how to say his last name. The guy who just knocked out Neil Magny recently. That's who it is. And who else is on there? Uh, Jean Silva, Jane Silva. I don't know how to say his name exactly, but they're all on the team, the Fighting Nerds team. It's extremely good team. Had a lot of success recently, with all of them winning, like all of them winning recently. Kyle, Mauricio, his last fight. Um, I forgot the girl who was on there as well. She's a really good part of the team as well. So with Rufy though, what we know about him so far, he is on a 5-fight win streak. Um, 10 of those fights, he has gone 5-fight win streak. Sorry, right now he has 10 wins by KO. 7 of the KOs are first round finishes. Um, 7 of the 10 are first round finishes. He has extremely good distance management. He's really fast and powerful. He's a risk taker. I don't think he's lost in the UFC at all. His last fight was the Australian fella. What's his name? I don't remember his name, but he beat the shit out of him from start to finish. Well, it was first round, so I don't really think it was much finish. But anyway, yeah. So we got James as well. James on top. He has 7 wins by KO, 3 first round finishes. He's kind of like kind of a grimy fighter. He likes to just get in your face and kind of wear you down. He had a pretty good contender series fight. He has also has fought in the UFC previous. I forgot the guy's name as well. He likes to do the little weird dance after every one of his fights. I'm not really insanely good at names. As soon as I see their face, I know exactly what it is, but the names I'm not really good with. Now, he likes to be more of a grimy fighter, I think, and I don't think that's going to work very well against Rufy. I think the level of opponent and the level of striker that he's going to be going up against is completely different from when he first fought when he got in TFC. Um, I really think this one's kind of going to be a shutout again as well. I don't think Rufy's going to have too much trouble until he starts getting into a little bit higher um, of competition, higher level of competition. I don't think that these guys are going to really give him that much trouble. So for this one, in terms of picks, we're going to go Rufy. It's a safe pick. I think it's, yeah, I don't think that's really a dangerous pick at all. It's pretty safe, honestly. All right, on to the next fight. We have Viviana Ujo or Aujo versus Karine Silva. Now, Viviana, she's not doing so hot in the UFC right now. I know she's 1-2 in her last 3 fights. Uh, but in terms of her stats in the UFC, she's 3 wins by KO, 4 submission wins, 4 first round KOs. She lost her last fight as well. She's a very powerful striker, but she does get tired quick. Um, Now I will say the one thing about Viviana Ujo this fight is that her back is kind of against the wall since she is 1-2 in her last 3 fights. You know what I mean? Usually once they get to that 3 fight marker, they start getting cut. So I think that's going to be a pretty big motivation for her. Sorry, I wasn't tired. It's late. It's going to be a pretty big motivation for her in order to win this fight. I really think that her back is against the wall on this one. Um, And yeah, we'll see what she has to offer with you know Silva. She's still young, and yeah, on top of that, Wujo is I always mess it up. She's 37 years old, so she is older. You know what I mean? She is an older woman. She's not a spring chicken. She's on her kind of her tail end of her career. She's, kind of shown that too with the recent performances. And then we have Silva, which is still fresh. She's barely 30 years old. She's on a 9-fight win streak, 9 fights by KO, 8 by submission. She's 4-0 in the UFC, 3 first round finishes in the UFC, all finishes in the UFC, but 3 first round especially. She's a pretty aggressive fighter. She's got good striking on the feet. Obviously, really good submissions on the ground. And I think she's really hungry and she's ready to kind of break into that top 10 in the flyweights for the women's. I think that she's gonna get it done. I think that she's young. I think that she's excited to be here. I know Viviana's back is against the wall, but she's also 37, and I think this is kind of the new generation showing up. So I think that we're gonna go Silva on this one. I think that she's a safe pick. I think it'll go decision. The only other thing I could think of would be probably a submission, maybe round 2, 3. I think after Viviana gets tired, cause she tends to get tired in the later rounds. So I think we could see a submission later or a decision win by Silva. That'd be my pick. This is more of a risky pick fight. Um, I would I would I would definitely. This is a hard one. This is definitely a risky pick. If you could sit this one out, I would. But if you had to pick anybody, I think Silva definitely will get this one done. Okay, now we have Bo Nickel, another middleweight bout, or a first middleweight bout. Sorry, I was looking at the previous card. Let's see here. Bo Nickel obviously being 6-0 in the UFC. We have Paul Craig 17-8-1. Bo Nickel coming off a win. Paul Craig off of a loss against Kyle Bohalio. It was a bad knockout. Um, we got Bo, that's 2 wins by KO, 4 wins by sub, and all of them being in the first round. We haven't seen a ton of Bo Nickel. I think this is by far his biggest challenge is Paul Craig. This will kind of break him into the ranked opponents and kind of see what he has and how badly he struggles. There were some positions in that. Who did he fight last? I forgot who it was. It wasn't James Bigger. It was Cody something. I don't remember his name, but Cody Duran. I think so. But there were some positional things where it seems like Bo wasn't too aware yet. So It's kind of like leading me to believe, um, if he messes up, if he does grapple, if he messes up with Paul Craig, it could be dire if he makes a mistake. Now we have Paul Craig, which he has 4 wins by KO, 13 submissions, 11 first round finishes altogether. Um, Things to look out for, obviously, with Paul Craig is his triangle. He's got a really sneaky triangle. I think that's kind of what I was talking about with the positions with the Bo, is that sometimes he seems like a little lost with the MMA grappling, um, and I think Craig could take advantage of that, like kind of like what he did with Ankalaev, like the sneaky triangles and sneaky submissions he has. I think are going to be a problem. I think obviously Craig has had improved striking. Obviously not since the Kyle Bahalio knockout, but he's a really good striker. I don't think Bo's on that level of striking yet. I think Bo's good. He's got some power, but uh, I don't think that the striking difference will be that big. Obviously, Craig has fought like almost everybody in light heavyweight and quite a few people in middleweight so far, so he's got a lot of experience. Craig is a little older. I believe he is what 38. Oldest Paul Craig. Yeah. Oh, 36. Now he's still not that bad. So this should be a competitive fight. This should be a really good fight. A really good test for Bo. Um, I think honestly, I think Bo will try to avoid. I think Bo has the power to knock Paul Craig out. I think Bo will try to avoid the grappling. Um, because Craig is really sneaky. Obviously, has quite a bit of submissions. Uh, I don't think like I said, the striking differential will be that big, but I think Bo's power will make the difference. So I'm gonna go Bo on this one, and I think also to my personal pick, I think I'm gonna put a little bit of bread on Bo by knockout. I think he'll be able to catch Craig. Um, It's just something telling me. I don't know why. And on to the co-headliner light heavyweight bout. We have Charles do Bronx Oliveira versus my Iron Michael Chandler. Um, so this one is interesting. Obviously, we have do Bronx coming off that loss to Arman Tsarukyan, a really close fight. Um, Man, this is a tough one. I mean, obviously we'll read some stats for do Bronx. He has 10 KOs, 21 submissions. So he has the most submissions in the UFC, I do believe. Um, he just has that really press forward style as well. He's already beaten Chandler previously by KO, so something tells me he's gonna do it again. I think Charles has been active. Charles has been fighting pretty good, and Chandler's obviously been on the sidelines recently. So, but what's his name? Oliveira's on a two-fight losing streak, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think that. Oh no, is he? He beat. Didn't he beat Dariush and then he lost to Arman? Okay, yeah. So he's not. He's only on a one-fight losing streak. So you just gotta get back in the win column. Sometimes I forget. I mean, when I do these breakdowns and shit like that, I forget, and I'm not too familiar. You know, I'm new to these, so I just want to kind of get these going for you guys and myself. They're pretty fun to do. Um, but yeah, we had a close fight with Arman his last fight, and then obviously Chandler with 11 KOs, 7 submissions, 13 first-round finishes, 2-3 in the UFC. It's been 2 years since he's last fought, and it was a loss against Dustin Poirier, but the submission was a third round, I believe. He's 38 years old as well. Wasted the last 2 years waiting for McGregor. Um, I'm a Chandler fan. Like him coming over from Bellator was awesome. I was so excited for it. I really was for that whole kind of run, the see at the top. But I think this 2 years off has not been good for Chandler in the sense of like he could have had already so many fights. He could have had about five, 6 fights in that period. Um, Maybe I'm over exaggerating, even 4. You know what I mean? 2 fights every year. Just for him to sit here and having to fight Oliveira again. Uh, but yeah, I think like the last one, if he can catch Charles, I think that's the only way he beats him. If he can catch Charles early like he did the last time, or he caught him early but actually put him down this time, I think that's the only way he beats him. I don't think Chandler has the endurance to go all 3 rounds with Oliveira. Obviously, we see Oliveira can go 3 rounds, you know what I mean, easy. So, um, unless it's a quick, fast KO in the first round, I don't think Chandler wins this. I think this will be another loss on Chandler's record. Then they're being 2-4 in the UFC. So this one, boys, I'm gonna be going Charles Oliveira back in the win column, and we're gonna do KO again. I think that Chandler won't be able to take it, and he'll get put down again. On to the main card. What everybody's been waiting for. Not really, kind of, what they've been hating on slightly. Is Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic at heavyweight. So this one's, I think, John's first real test at heavyweight, which I thought would have been gone, but I think this is going to be his real first test at heavyweight. So obviously we got Jones, 10 KOs, 7 subs, fought and beaten everybody at light heavyweight, all the legends, you know. So it's been a year and a half too since that Gone fight, so he's been off a little bit as well. We have Stipe with 15 KOs, 5 decisions, 3 title defenses, being the GOAT, heavyweight GOAT. Um, Last fight, 2021, which is interesting, and it was a bad KO loss to Francis Ngannou. He's now 41 years old, and the topic of this fight seems to be, I don't know, winner retires. I mean, I'm not understanding. Both of them have been talking about retiring, kind of leading up to the bout. So, uh, what I will say is Stipe does have good boxing. I think John's always had trouble with people with good boxing. Obviously, John's a real distance management type of guy. He's not too in the pocket boxing everybody short hooks. You know what I mean? He's not that type of fighter. Stipe can adapt and kind of do both. Stipe's good, being a long fighter or being on the inside, especially with his body shots. Um, I think Stipe's susceptible to that oblique kick that John has. Uh, I'm trying to think, because John's distance management is phenomenal. I think that also, Stipe's ring rust is going to have a real play into it, because obviously being off for 3.5 years and not having a fight is gonna definitely have implications on the fight. But I also think that John coming back from that pec injury is gonna have some implications on the fight as well, depending on how well it healed and if it's in the back of his mind at all or if it's affecting him. Um, it could really be a problem. You know what I mean? I think that Stipe being also 41 years of age is an issue. Um, Slightly. I mean, 40 years old now is different from what it was back then. I think Stipe is still going to give him a real challenge, but I just don't think he's been active enough to really give John a serious, like for people to take it serious. I think that's why people have been clowning it. If this fight was made 2 years ago, you know what I mean, or 3 years ago, then this it would have been insane. It would have been massive. It would have been big. But there always will be the asterisk of like Stipe. If John does beat him, everybody's just gonna say Stipe is old. That's why. It's not gonna be you're the heavyweight goat now. All this nonsense because even 3 years ago he could have fought. He could have fought Francis. You know, he could have fought Stipe. He could have been active. It took him a while to move up to heavyweight. So we only get kind of a glimpse of John at heavyweight, really. He's only taken. This is going to be his second fight at heavyweight. So if he does retire, we won't really see much of John at heavyweight. But I mean, he is taking marquee fights and legacy fights, so I understand. So anyway, I think we're going to be going John by decision. I think this one's going to be pretty cut and dry. I think John's just gonna poke him, pick him apart. Um, it would be cool to see Stipe put him in some trouble, to really hurt him, and because we've known John's had some trouble with boxing, Gustafsson, Reyes, even Daniel Cormier, he's had trouble with just that inside boxing. So I think Stipe poses a good threat, but we'll see how Stipe looks. It's been so long, you know what I mean. So, but the smart pick and the guaranteed pick would be to go with John. Um, but yeah, I think this is his real first test at heavyweight. I think that's kind of the idea that I'm getting here. So yeah, boys, put your picks in. Let me know who you got. Um, Remember, we're only a couple days out. I think like 4 days out now from 309. So hopefully this video goes up fairly soon. I'm going to be working on everything tonight. I'm up a little bit late. Yeah. If you guys liked the video, make sure you leave a like, obviously, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And yeah, if you guys are on X or anything, give me a follow there. I have all my links in my socials. If you guys want to just, give me your opinions, talk. You guys can leave your opinions in the comments as well. Give me your guys' picks and who you guys got. Um, yeah, so I'll be putting in some cash on these guys. And yeah, guys, we'll see you on Sunday, Monday. I don't know. I'll make a video afterwards, kind of the results and kind of what I think. I got the Jake Paul fight too on Friday, so I don't know if I'm gonna make any content for that, but 309 definitely. So yeah, you guys have a great night, and yeah, peace.